Excellent. Okay.
Shane Thiessen says, how does the industry decide on seasonal colors? It seems that different brands release very similar colors at the same time. For example, many brands are currently pushing the light pastel green and blue at the moment.
Yeah, you're right, Shane. Thanks for the question. A lot of brands use trend forecasting agencies, and this helps to predict upcoming color trends. So depending on where you are located in the world, if it's UK, the Americas, or Asia, this might look a little different. But these agencies look at the cultural, economic conditions, they look at social circles and location to help consumers identify with these upcoming color trends. If one brand launches lime green clothing, consumers might not buy it because they see it at one location and it doesn't really relate to them. That results in the product not selling. But if many brands launch lime green clothing, then it becomes trendy and that creates consumer demands. This is a very important tool that's used by the industry, and a little fun fact is that these trends are predicted 2 to 3 years in advance.
So Adjective Noun asks, when you describe the fabric as dry, what does that mean?
Okay, so when we're saying a fabric's dry, that's a sub-term of what's called hand feel. And hand feel, when it comes to fabric, is about how does it feel in your hand. And that breaks down into how soft is the fabric, how stiff does the fabric feel, how does the fabric drape, how does the fabric remove moisture and oils from your hands. Because when a fabric does feel dry, what it is it's actively absorbing the oils and moisture from your hands. And these oils and moistures typically lubricates your hands. So, it makes things feel soft and glides a little bit. But when a fabric is dry, usually a lot of cottons will do this. Because it actively removes that, it can come off as dry. On the flip side, you get stuff that's called buttery soft. And what a buttery soft fabric is a fabric that has been brushed, so you're breaking those fibers, the filaments, to raise them, to reduce the surface area that you're actually touching the fabric. You get that buttery soft feeling because often these fibers are also lubricated with either silicone washes or washed in soft water washes. You get this feeling of the fabric gliding across your hands or your body. Those are the kind of like flip sides, but it's so subjective, honestly, when it comes to hand feel. The way you feel fabric, the way I feel fabric is different. If I'm feeling fabric all day, they all will feel the same. So we're working on like testing methods to actually quantify that data. But this is an entire series when it comes to fabric hand feel and fabric like stability. So let us know in the comments if you want us to dive into that, but like, this is definitely not something that we can answer in one question.
Quai Skelly asks, can you please help me? I feel like all my clothes look shitty after a while. I don't think I'm washing them wrong, but they look and feel bad after one wash.
Okay, so this could be from a multitude of reasons. By no means am I a dry cleaner or own a laundromat, but if you are buying poor quality clothes, that will be a big reason, because a lot of cheaper clothing, they're using cheaper dye stuff, cheaper materials, everything's cheaper to get the product to market cheaper. So they can't produce as high quality or durable garments. Number two is if you're washing stuff in like high heat and high dryer temp, really rough environment for your clothing. A lot of people will mix in heavy denim with a heavy hoodie with a light t-shirt. And these things are spinning around there for an hour in the wash, an hour in the dryer. This is gonna cause a lot of damage to your fabric. It's gonna stretch your lighter fabrics. For anything that has like print and dye sublimation, that heat is gonna actively remove some of those prints as well. Definitely, if you want to preserve your clothes, wash it on cold, hang dry if you can, or dry on low heat. That is just gonna be preventative things. High quality clothing at the end of the day is really what's gonna help last.
Glenn Explorer asks, can you do a video on how resource intensive it is to make recycled fabrics versus just using new fabrics?
I think that'd be a super interesting topic to go from, let's say, the plastic bottle through the entire life cycle to a garment. One series we actually have filmed already, and we're just waiting on the right time to deploy it, is we're gonna show you guys how you go from plastic pellets, like nylon pellets, all the way through the yarn, the knitting, the cut and sew to a finished garment, like a legging. So that's a series we have in the background we're gonna put out, because there's no footage of this on the internet. But if a brand or a company like Reprieve that does a lot of this recycling stuff and they're willing to open the doors to let us film, we would absolutely love to come film and share this process.
RBR Clothing asks, is it best to work with a factory to produce the best product you can, or is it best to go to a factory once you have completed design?
So when it comes to this, it really depends on your experience as a fashion designer. If you have a lot of experience and you know every single trim and component that you need, and you just need someone to execute it, then maybe flesh out the design first and work with a manufacturing partner. However, if you don't have a lot of experience, or you're a brand that's pivoting into a category that you haven't been in before, that's when it's really important to work with a company that actually has experience or a factory that has experience. Most of our clients are brands that are doing well in their category, but they want to expand to more custom clothing. So that's where they come to us, because we provide the expertise, we educate them, and we take them through the process of taking this conceptualized idea into a finished commercialized product. But when it comes to factories themselves, you just have to make sure that the factories understand what you're trying to execute. One, there could be stuff that's lost in translation. There could be misinterpretations of what you expect your final quality of product to be compared to what they want. That's why it's so hard to actually find a good manufacturing partner. We audit at least like 10 to 15 factories a year, and we fail most of them because we are very particular on the partners that we work with to deliver the products we want. If you are manufacturing with partners overseas, just make sure you find the right partners who understand you and ultimately align with the vision that you're trying to create at the end of the day.
Griffith asks, how do you communicate brushed French terry fabric overseas? They always think I'm talking about fleece.
I think this is actually something that will happen a lot where, you have to imagine when you're creating specific products in an overseas market, their understanding of what's currently on trend and popular might be very different than what's in your current market. In North America right now, very heavy terries and very heavy single jerseys are very popular. In, let's say, China, that's not very popular yet because it's really hot there and you wouldn't be wearing these clothes. So a lot of times when you're asking for specific requests, sometimes a lot of these things do get lost in translation. For us, we are very specific when we're sourcing fabrics. We have our team in China that will actually execute on our requests. But before a brushed terry, what you really want to ask at the end of the day is, and just for people who don't know what that is, a fleece is basically a terry that has been napped and it's been broken up to create that fleece effect. If you want a brushed terry, what you have to ask is for terry that has only been napped maybe 1 or 2 times, because typically to get to the point of being a full fleece, you have to bring it through the napping machine maybe 3, 4, 5 times to raise enough of those fibers to create the fleece. So just basically taking it 1 or 2 passes will get you the ultimate result that you're looking for.
All right, so Joe, I have a question. I was wondering, for brands who are just starting out and they know they want to make clothes but aren't too familiar with fabrics, how do they go about picking the right fabrics for the right garments that they want to choose, like hoodies, t-shirts, etc.? Like, is there a wrong or right choice?
So I think a lot of people, they try to launch a brand and they go right into what product do they want to create. And that's kind of like the, if I build it, they will come mentality. I think what's a better approach is looking at who are you actually creating products for, understanding the particular demographic. When I think a lot of people say demographic, there's like, it's so abstract and it's like just data points, but these are living, breathing people. Who are these living, breathing people? What do they want in their day-to-day lives, right? If you are a tradesman and you have to work outside all winter, you want clothing that's durable. You want clothing that's gonna be insulating. By understanding that and understanding the people you're creating products for, you'll be able to create products that actually have a net benefit to their life, rather than it just being another t-shirt with a logo on it. You can create something that people love, whether it's to be a part of the need to be a part of a community, whether it is the need for a product to do something functional, understand your target market, and then understand what they need for that. And then once you understand that, then you can dive into, okay, this customer needs XYZ in terms of their lifestyle. And you can find the products and fabrics and you just touch and feel. Go to fabric suppliers in your you have access to a lot of fabric here, but go to fabric suppliers in your neighborhoods, in your city, and start feeling fabrics and look at brands that the people who you're trying to serve also purchase from, because they're already being served by specific products by these other brands who've done this research. So I think that, like, at the end of the day, there's a saying like, good artists copy or something like that, but great artists steal. You know, when it comes to fashion, this is something where the best ideas come because they're built on top of others. So look at those brands that are serving your current market. Look at the products that they're resonating with and try to make those improvements. And I think that's how you create a solid product at the end of the day, no matter what kind of product you're creating.
So we filmed a lot of what it costs episodes, and you talk about the pricing of like, oh, it costs $8 to make, $10 to make, etc. Right? So I'm wondering, besides the brand being behind the clothing and whatnot and upping the price, how is it that they are able to justify, for example, a $60 t-shirt for an $8 material? If we're not even talking about branding or whatnot, just the quality and what they think it's justified.
So when it comes to the product and price, I think a lot of people, they go, because they're not in a business mindset, they think, you know, what would be a fair trade? But when it comes to business, it's not about a fair trade necessarily. It's about, again, servicing your customer base. If your customers are millionaires that own yachts, they don't want $8 t-shirts. They want $100, $200, $300 t-shirts. And there may be an upper threshold of, well, not there may be, there is an upper threshold of what a t-shirt can cost to make. So what's important at the end of the day is figuring out who your customer is, where are they in their life as well. You look at like different athleisure brands, Young LA, most of their customer base is early 20s. The quality of the clothing is not great, but they don't need to be better for that target market. They need to hit a price point that their target market can afford. When you look at Lululemon, the quality is great, but it's also very expensive and often out of price for a lot of younger audiences. So don't always look at the product and try to create the price from it. Look at who you're trying to serve and then work back to see what you can afford on the product side. Or, you know, a lot of brands that we work with, like, and I love the fact that we can do this, like some brands, they're not very focused on the margin. They're just focused on creating really cool fucking products. And they know that their audience is gonna resonate with it. And that's the value exchange there is, as a brand, I'm willing to take less margin because I want to deliver the best and coolest products. And as a customer, I'm willing to support this brand because I fuck with this narrative.
If you guys want to see more of these type of videos and more on what goes on behind the scenes in fashion, don't forget to subscribe and check out these videos.